And that desire to still want a man and to still want a white zaddy in my life and as a husband will still be there.
There are some black women out there who feel that black men are the problem. We're too dusty. We're too broke. We're too bald-headed. We look too ugly, like O'Shea Duke Jackson. I mean, it's always the black man's fault. And for whatever situation that happens with the black woman, black men are to blame for it. And we've gotten used to hearing that sort of rhetoric, and it's fine. And so much to the point that you don't even want to engage black women in certain conversations because it's just not going to make sense. But the only thing that you can prove is that in every relationship, they are the one consistent constant, right? They are the constant in the relationship. They have multiple children by multiple different men. We can talk about Erykah Badu, who has 3 kids by 3 different men. There is Phelan Pena or Phelan Guabadia, who has 4 kids by 4 different men. But again, hey, black men are the issue. But then there's another lady who is quite the phenomenal actress, and she can never get it right. Rewind, Emma! That is the lovely Halle Berry, the beautiful, the exceptional, the great Halle Berry. We all first saw her in 1992. That breakthrough was Boomerang. And although that she was in the Miss USA pageant and almost won it, she was a runner-up. We know her for the most part of being an exceptional actress. But being exceptional in Hollywood doesn't mean that your love life is going to be that great. In 1993, she decided to marry African-American baseball player David Justice. I remember him because he was on the Atlanta Braves at the same time as John Smoltz and those other guys. Yep, they divorced, right? They divorced after 7 years. It was not the same. They separated and divorced. Out went Mr. Justice, and Halle Berry was single again. And of course, you probably heard that lingo. Anger music, F him. He wasn't nobody, no way. You know what I'm saying? I deserve better. Then she moved on with Eric Benet. Eric Benet, the singer who typically sings with his shoes off. Eric Benet was hot at one point, and so hot that Halle Berry could not resist. So yeah, she had to get some of that for herself. And she did. And their marriage lasted all but 4 years, just like the first one. 2001. Wedding music, Dima! Yeah, 2005. But then it all came crashing down. Fast forward, Dima! Then there was Gabriel Aubrey. Now we're going to get into the white men. This is important because the 2 black guys never asked her for any kind of child support. Nope, that's important. David Justice and Eric Benet, they divorced. That was it. But now once we get to Gabriel Aubrey, this guy who was a Canadian French model, also sort of racist. Yeah, they dated from 2005 and 2010. And in that 5 years, we heard a lot of booty clapping sounds. Yeah, Halle Berry was tired of those black men. She was tired of the Pookies. She was tired of the Ray Rays. She had to get a white man. And that's what she did. But can I get a give over sound effect, Emma? Unfortunately, it didn't work out. They didn't even get to marriage. Why? Because, well, she had to get rid of Gabriel Aubrey. Got tired of taking care of him. And then, he has a daughter with her. And there's a lot of racism in the game. Look, she just had to go, right? Now, stop the show. It's very interesting. She does have 2 children. None with her black husbands or ex-husbands, but one with Gabriel Aubrey, and one with this next guy, Olivier Martinez. Hey, yes, he is known actually for being in a lot of French films. Now, that's interesting because he's nowhere near what she is in America at all. Like, nobody ever talks about this guy in France, I don't believe, in the same level that we talk about Halle Berry. But it's okay. He's done certain things. Not that anybody cares about it, but they were married for 10 years. And out of that relationship came a baby. That was nice. Give a round of applause. Yeah, it was 10 years of booty clapping sounds. Yeah, well, technically it wasn't 10 years because they were separated and all that. But yeah, they were together and it was doing okay until it wasn't okay. And then they left. And then, actually they split up for like 2019. But here's something that's going on here, right? Gabrielle Aubrey receives $8,000 a month from Halle Berry. The second guy is gonna get custody and child support payments. Which means that for the child, Maceo, her son, with Olivier Martinez, she will pay for the private school, 100% of his extracurricular activities, including soccer, including the health insurance, and all of that. That's interesting that none of her black husbands did her in this way, but the two French guys, French Canadian and France guy, did her that way. But it all reminds me of a conversation that I had with Dr. T.S. Johnson when we were talking about husband sons. Now, I want to play that clip about how powerful women treat poor black men.
With husband sons, one of the things I began to notice is that you had well-to-do women who were employed, who were educated, so on and so forth, and who would use the rationale that there were no other options, and they would choose men that were intentionally in such a low position that those men could not offer much challenge. So in other words, they were in the dominant position in the relationship. These men depended on them for hearth and home, for income, for food, for everything. And if there was so much as an argument, those men would be out on the street.
Now, guys, it might not make sense because T.S. Johnson was talking about this in terminology, or in the same terminology. You know, black women have a lot of money and these men they're dating are also black. But if you think about it, it's the same thing. See, these two guys were not on her level. She knew that. And there is an issue because she couldn't do any better than that. So she ended up selling for less. But she thought that, hey, as long as they're white, that would be okay. I can get a mixed child out of the deal and everything would be fine. Until you realize that going over to white zaddy wasn't that great of an opportunity for you.
When it comes to black women divesting from black men, I sense that there's a part of black women that we resent protecting someone and showing up for someone that wasn't committed to reciprocating. And so there's a resentment there, but it's ultimately directed mostly at self. But if you don't take the time to heal and be accountable for your role, you run a very real risk of becoming the thing that hurt you and not fully reversing that karma. And so you recognize, yes, that was a circus. That was a very power imbalanced circus. But I bought a ticket. I showed up by being accountable and forgiving yourself.
And that's what a lot of ladies are saying. They're talking about how good these white guys are, how great these white men are, and you are married to black men, so which means that you can't keep anybody black or white because, you know, but to their credit, you didn't have to pay any child support or any kind of spousal support to them. But you chose these two guys who are not on your level and not on the same level as David Justice or Eric Benet, yet you're crying about paying child support. But doesn't that say something about you? You don't have the ability to get a man on your level, so you settled for less on purpose. And this is Halle Berry doing this later on in her life. But let's look at the Keke Palmer situation. Isn't that scary? Like, Keke Palmer settled for less in her late 20s, in the prime of her physicality. She's with a guy that can't make anything in comparisons to her. But you're seeing somebody like this with Halle Berry. At least she waited till later on in life. And that's very telling because all of that success doesn't equate into what kind of man wants to deal with you. And you can get mad if you want and stop the show. You probably will get mad and I really just don't care. But the reality is, it is what it is. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Pretty sure for all you do, serve the bell. We're out.